Electronegativity is the tendency for a bonded atom to attract electrons to itself. Electronegativity increases going up and to the right. If we look at this periodic table, of course I've left off the F block, but in particular I've also left off the noble gases, which would go right here on the right side. We don't really talk about electronegativity with regard to the noble gases because they certainly don't want to attract electrons to themselves because they're quite happy with the electrons they have. And secondly, they don't hardly bond with anything. With those lopped off the side of the table, electronegativity is going to increase going up and to the right of the elements that are left, which means that the most electronegative element is the one that is right up here, and that would be fluorine. I've seen fluorine misspelled or fluoride misspelled so many times. It's not a huge thing, but it rankles. So I thought I'd better come up with some kind of mnemonic to help my students maybe learn to spell the word fluorine correctly, or fluoride if we're talking some kind of a compound. There is a U in fluorine, and it comes before the O. So the mnemonic is that fluorine got the flu, and I think that's helped. The mistake is rarer now than it used to be. So you remember that every time you write the word fluorine or fluoride, or even when you say those words, there's a little ooh in there, fluorine, fluoride, and that's because fluorine got the flu. This young man is extremely troubled because he has forgotten which ones the most electronegative elements are. Now, of course, we can go to the internet and we can find out which ones the most electronegative elements are, but sometimes it's nice to have a mnemonic to help us remember the main ones. This fella right here is going to help us, but he's not going to deliver that knowledge for free. It's going to cost. So his response to this young man's problem of, oh man, I forgot which ones the most electronegative elements are. This fella here on the right says, shoot, I'll tell you, which a newscaster would say, shoot, I'll tell you, faux nickel. He'll tell us, faux nickel, and that's the mnemonic. Because fluorine is the most electronegative, oxygen is the next most electronegative, and nitrogen and chlorine are tied for third. Faux nickel. I'll tell you, faux nickel. Others that you might want to remember, carbon is 2.5 and hydrogen is 2.1. The difference between those electronegativities of carbon and hydrogen is not very great, and when we get to this will be one reason that we'll say that a carbon-hydrogen bond is a nonpolar bond.